What is Web3? Web3 is the third generation of evolution of web technologies. The web, also known as World Wide Web, is the foundation layer of how the internet is used, providing website and the application services. Web3 is still evolving and being defined, and as such, there is a canonical universally accepted definition. What is clear, though, it is Web3 will have the strong emphasis on decentralized application and make extensive use of blockchain-based technologies. Web3 will also make use of machine learning and artificial intelligence, which is called AI, to help empower more intelligent and adaptive applications. Any other aspect is that the part of emerging definition of Web3 is a notion of the semantic web. Among those that have advocated for the integration of semantic technology into the web is the creator of the web, which is the Tim Berners-Lee. It took over 10 years of transition from the original web, Web 1 to Web 2, and it is expected that to just take as long, if not longer, to fully implement and reshape the web with the Web 3. If the trend of change is traced from the Web 1, a static information provider where the people read websites but rarely interface with them, to Web 3 and to Web 2, an interactive and social web enabling collaboration with between users, and it can be assumed that Web 3 will change both how websites are made and how people interact with them. How does Web 3 work? With the Web 1 and Web 2 technologies, hypertext markup language, which is called HTML, defines the layout and the delivery of the web page. The HTML will continue to be the foundational layer with the Web3, but now it's connected to the data sources, and where those data sources reside could be the somewhat different than earlier generation of the web. Many websites and nearly all applications in the Web 2.0 era rely on some form of the centralized database to deliver data and help to enable functionality. With the Web3, instead to our decentralized database, application and the services make use of the decentralized blockchain. With blockchain, the basic idea is that there isn't any arbitrary central authority but rather a form of distributed consensus. An emergency governance ideal within the blockchain and the Web3 community is the concept of decentralized autonomous organization, which is called DAO. Instead of having a central authority that govern the operation of the platform, with the DAO, Web3 technologies and the communities provide a form of self-governance in an attempt to decentralize approach. Web3 also fundamentally works with the cryptocurrencies, more so than with the fiat currency. Finance and the ability to pay for goods and services with a decentralized form of payment that is enabled across Web3 with the use of the cryptocurrencies, which are all built and enabled on the top of blockchain technology. Both Web 1 and Web 2 were primarily built with the IPv4 addressing space as a function of the massive growth of the web over the decades. It is neat that in Web 3 for the more internet addresses, which is what IPv6 provides. Key Web 3 feature Web 3.0 may be constructed with AI, semantic web, and ubiquitous property in mind. The idea behind using AI comes from the goal of providing faster, more relevant data to the end user. A website using AI should be able to filter through and provide the data. I think a specific user will find the appropriate social bookmarking as the search engine can provide better results than Google since the result or the website that have been voted on by users. However, the result can also be manipulated by humans. AI could be used to separate the legitimate result from the falsified, therefore producing results similar to the social bookmarking and the social media but without bad feedback. An artificial intelligence web will also introduce virtual assistant, an element that is already emerging today as the specs built into the device or through third-party apps. The idea behind the semantic web is to categorize and store information in a way that helps track a system what specified data means. In other words, a website should be able to understand word put in search queries the same as a human would, enabling it to generate and share better content. The website will also use the AI, and the semantic web will teach a computer what the data means, and then AI will take the information and use it. There are several key Web3 features that help to define what the third generation of the web will likely be all about, including the following. Decentralized. As opposed to the first two generations of the web, where governance and the application were largely centralized, Web3 will be decentralized. Application and the services will be enabled in a distributed approach, where there is a central authority. Blockchain-based. Blockchain is the enabler for the creation of the decentralized application and the services. With blockchain, the data and connection across services are distributed in an approach that is different than the centralized database infrastructure. Blockchain can also enable an immutable ledger of the transaction and activity, helping to provide verifiable authority in a decentralized world. Cryptocurrency enabled. Cryptocurrency usage is a key feature of Web3 services and largely replaces the use of fiat currency. Autonomous and the artificial intelligence, more automation overall is a critical feature of the Web3, and that automation will largely be powered by the AI. Web3 is the successor of the two previous generations of the web. The first generation of the web, sometimes referred to as Web 1, was invented and defined by Tim Berners-Lee. In 1989, Web 1 was most basic access and was connectively across static websites. The first generation of the web latest until approximately 2004, when the team O'Reilly helped to coin the term Web 2.0. Web 2 refers to the website and application that utilize user-generated content for users. Web 2 is used in many websites today, chief focusing on user interactivity and collaboration. Web 2 also focuses on providing more universal network connectivity and communication channels. The difference between the Web 2 and Web 3 is that Web 3 is more focused on the use of technologies like machine learning and the AI to provide relevant content for each user instead of just the content other users have provided. Web 2 essentially enables users to contribute and sometimes collaborate on the site content, while Web 3 will most likely turn these jobs over to the semantic web and AI technologies. Web 3 also focuses strongly on the decentralized services and authority, which is a marked contrast to the centralization of the Web 2.0. Web 1, Web 2, Web 3 created in 1989 by Tim Berners-Lee. Web 2, term coined by the Tim O'Reilly in 2004. Web 3, modern language with blockchain defined by Gavin Wood, co-founder of Ethereum in 2014. Web 1, static website content. Web 2 is the dynamic content and the user input, while the Web 3 semantic content that can benefit from AI. Web 1 information delivery, Web 2 social network, Web 3 metaverse world. Web 1 is centralized infrastructure, Web 2 cloud utility infrastructure that is still largely centralized. Web 3 decentralized as computing and peer-to-peer. Web 1 and Web 2 relation database driven content and application and delivery, while the Web 3 blockchain based distributed services. Web 3 application with the blockchain at the foundation. Web 3 enables a growing number of the different types of the new application and services to exist, including the following. Number one is the NFT, which is called non-fungible token. That are the tokens that are stored in the blockchain with the cryptographic hash, making the token unit unique. DeFi, decentralized finance, is an emerging use case for Web 3.0, where decentralized blockchain is used as the basis for enabling financial services outside of confines of the traditional centralized banking infrastructure. Cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are the Web3 application that create a new world of the currency that aims to separate from the historical world of the fiat currency. DApp, decentralized application, are the applications that are built on the top of the blockchain and make use of the smart contracts to enable services delivery in a programmatic approach that is lodged on the immutable ledger. Cross-chain bridges, there are the multiple blockchain on the Web3 world and enabling a degree of the interoperability across them is the domain of cross-domain bridges. DAOs. DAOs are the set of potentially become the organizing entity for Web 3.0 services, providing some structure and governance in the decentralized approach. I hope you get insightful information from my video. If you really like this video, then please don't forget to comment this on the comment section below. Please subscribe my YouTube channel for more future updates. I will see you in my next video.